All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, anybody that is a football fanatic, welcome to the postseason of the NFL, where we are going to be starting off the weekend of the postseason, where we play to one exact player to be the best of this year, and that is the Super Wildcard weekend that is happening right here, right now, this weekend, tomorrow evening. So, with all that being said, everybody, I am here to give you the predictions. I am here to give you the honest opinions on what I feel is going to happen this weekend. So, without a further ado, let us begin by talking to you to drop a like on this video, leave a comment down below, any new content that you would like for me to do, and anything like that, as far as what you would like me to do, please let me know in the comments down below. I won't know until you guys are part of it. Also, to be sure to hit that subscribe button as well. If you can hit the subscribe button here and let me know when you do subscribe and notification bell anytime that I post new content, you guys will be notified. So it's very crucial that you hit that notification bell. So do all the things that I've told you to do. Like, comment, subscribe, notification bell, all will be good within that time. So thank you so much. Thank you to everybody that is tuning in right now. We do have one person that just joined in. So thank you so much for tuning in. It helps. It really does mean a lot to me. So thank you so much for doing that. And without a further ado, we will begin on the very first game of the weekend. And we have two games that are going to be playing tomorrow night. Tomorrow at 4:30. Tomorrow we have one game that will be starting tomorrow at 4:30, and that game is, when I get the lower third pulled up, the first game for tomorrow is the NFC West rivals of the Seattle Seahawks going to San Francisco to play the number 2 NFC team, the San Francisco 49ers, who are favored by 9.5 points in this particular playoff game, a crucial game for the Niners where they must win, obviously. So, what do I like about this matchup right here? Well, personally, I think the last seed of the NFC, which is the Seahawks, I felt, this might be kind of a blowout, kind of a game. I think this is where San Francisco kind of really gets the ball rolling here. They're going to continue the winning ways. Obviously, Brock Purdy is going to be playing in this game here. No question in terms of Jimmy Garoppolo returning, which I don't think is really going to be happening. Unless if the 49ers keep winning and they go to the Super Bowl possibly, or if they make it to the division round and to the NFC championship. But I believe that the San Francisco 49ers are going to prove to a lot of people on why they're one of the best teams in the NFL and probably the best coach team in the NFL. So again, this matchup right here between these two teams, these two teams have had a lot of crazy games within the last several years. Not as much this year. San Francisco has really came in and they swept the Seahawks and pretty much dominated both times in both games with the Trey Lance injury and Jimmy Garoppolo taking over. And then when Brock Purdy took over the second time, the second game around between the two, they pretty much dominated on both sides of the ball. Geno Smith had a rough time with getting this started, and that's kind of where they got there. But the San Francisco 49ers, they're just the most complete team right now. In my honest opinion, they're the most complete team. The Seahawks still continue to struggle on defense. They continue to struggle with the run. They continue to struggle with, those kind of things. I think corners are a little bit shaky too. The pass rush is not anywhere there. Defensively, they're a mess, and they got to get this fixed within next year if they want to be, the top dog next year. So, the San Francisco 49ers, they're loaded on both sides of the ball, both offense and defense. Kyle Shanahan, he knows exactly what he's going to do. He's outcoached Pete Carroll for multiple times this year, for 2 straight times this year. Can he make it a third? I think so. I don't think there's really a whole lot that Purdy really needs to be aware of. I don't think there's really anything that he needs to be scared of going into this game here, except for, just not making any mistakes, playing mistake-free football. I think that's exactly what the 49ers are going to do. They have everything that they need. They have the running back of Christian McCaffrey. I believe Debo is probably going to be in this game. I believe Debo Samuel is going to be in this game, and if he is, that's going to really help them out a lot too. That probably will put the nod on for this team. But I really like the way that this is looking. I really think this is the San Francisco 49ers. I believe this is, this is their year to really come out here and shine. I think this is their pretty much their playoff picture here. They're pretty much their story here with the third string quarterback. I think they get the win here, and I think they win pretty convincingly. And as far as the Seahawks go, it's a shame. I think a lot of people, including myself, have had a lot of doubts within the Seahawks this year. I don't think many people were really expecting them to really play as well or be like a playoff team as well as they played this year. And it's a nice story to Geno Smith's resume. I think this is a team that has talent still, but at the same time too, there's also some things they need to look into in order to make their team stronger for next year. I think if they tweak up some things, I think defensively, maybe change of coaching a little bit, maybe they'll get the ball rolling for next year. But this year, though, it's the 49ers. It's written all over this victory for them. So I'm taking the 49ers to win. I'll take them to, I think, covering the spread of 9.5. I think that's pretty reasonable. I think that is something that will probably happen considering of what has gone on this year between, these two teams and the two times that they faced and just how much dominance that the Niners do have. They've had so much dominance this year. So that is my pick. The 49ers straight up, the 49ers spread. Next, we've got the Los Angeles Chargers, who are 2.5-point favorites to the Jacksonville Jags. And the Jacksonville Jags are a team that they were probably one of the last teams that I think anybody would have ever thought of making it to the playoffs. And I personally, I would have agreed with a lot of those people. I didn't think Jacksonville had it really in them just yet to be a playoff team this year. But again, they're another team that's proved a lot of people wrong. They've been pretty consistent, I would say. I mean, a little, up and down here and there, mostly on defense. I would be a little concerned about. I think defensively, I think there was quite a bit of concern there on defense. I think, Josh Allen is a beast as the defensive back, not to be confused with Josh Allen, the Bills quarterback, but Josh Allen, the defensive player for the Jacksonville Jags. The Jags have a good defense. They do have talent that is pretty consistent. I think they do have some players on this team that's good. But consistency is going to be the biggest thing in this game. And I think coaching is also going to be a big factor here too. And I think Doug Peterson has built the best team that he's probably built in quite a while. So, I think next year heading in, this will be a good game for them. But let's look at the Chargers, though. I mean, this Chargers team right now, as we speak, we didn't know what this team was going to be like heading into the postseason. We didn't think that these last 4 weeks were going to be the Chargers football. We didn't think that this was going to be the case for the Chargers to come in here and, really dominate on both sides of the ball here. Now, granted, a lot of the problems for the Chargers this year was mostly due to lack of weaponry, and Justin Herbert did not have that. So that made a lot of, struggles for this team earlier on in the year. And then to, defensive injuries too. This team had a lot of injuries, but they're overcoming those injuries. They're overcoming what they say adversity. And when you overcome adversity, you start to play tougher and harder than a lot of other teams in the league. Probably the Bills are going through the most adversity right now, but we'll talk about them when we get that to the second. But I do like what the Chargers have been doing. I think now this is the Chargers team that you've got to really think about. Like, both these teams probably no one really thought was going to make the playoffs the way that it was looking at one point in this during the regular season. But I got to say, though, the Chargers they're for real. I think they're a dark horse to really upset probably just about anybody. I think the toughest matchup for them, in my honest opinion, would probably be the Bills in this season here. So, but I don't really know who to really pick here, but I like the Chargers. I think they were kind of more of my pick this year to kind of be like maybe a dark horse and kind of be more in steady this year than the Jags, because I thought the Jags would have had more things to do. But I think while both teams are historically inconsistent, I think the Chargers get the slight edge here. Obviously, I like Trevor Lawrence. He's going to be something special in the future. I think next year will be the Jaguars' year to really come on and showcase with what they've got. I think they have a bright future for this team. I think they're good. I think they're on the right track to becoming a successful franchise. But I just think the Chargers, Justin Herbert, I think this defense, you can't go wrong with how this defense has been playing. They've been playing lights out football this later part of the season. So I will take the Chargers. I think the Chargers win this one. I think it's going to be fairly close. I think it will be a very fairly close game. Might be a little bit of an ugly game here and there. Might be a little bit of an ugly game, kind of feeling these teams out a little bit. But, this is a different kind of football game this time around. I know the Jags came in last time in Los Angeles to dominate and completely destroy the Chargers, but this is a different game. I think the Chargers are going to come back, and I think the Chargers are going to get that slight advantage, or they're going to want revenge. And I think right now they're one of the hottest teams in the NFL. So I'll take the Chargers to win, and I probably will take them to cover the spread at 2.5. I think that sounds pretty reasonable. Next up, we've got the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins, as some people call them, to go up to Buffalo to play the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are favored by 13.5 points. So for the Dolphins, the reason why the spread is so high at 13.5, I'm sure a lot of you already know. Tua's already out for this game. Skylar Thompson is coming in, and he's getting his other start. He's getting another start here for the Dolphins. And what does that really tell you, people? What does that tell you about Skylar Thompson getting another start here? It's probably not going to be very pretty here. The Bills will definitely win this game. The Dolphins, I like the story that they had. I don't know if truly they were kind of the team that I personally would have wanted to get the last wild card spot. But, the fact of the matter is they did. And now they're here and they got to play Buffalo. They're not going to really be able to get through really anybody in the AFC side, just because the difference is going to be quarterback. That's the biggest difference here. If Tua was in this game, it obviously would be a much more competitive game. It would be more exciting to watch. But Buffalo is just going to absolutely positively dominate this game. The Bills defense is going to get all sorts of pressure in terms of their nickel back defense that they love to play all the time. This team is good. The Bills are very good. They're my Super Bowl pick. I think they're going to the Super Bowl. Obviously, I think they're going to win it. They're going to win their very first one. They're just a great team, the Bills. They have everything that they need. The Dolphins struggled, this later part of the year. They've started out hot, but now it's, now I think we're now pretty much looking at what they have, they are who they thought they were. And, with that being said, too, the Dolphins, looking into next year, which we'll talk more about, now the Dolphins need to look into possibly another quarterback. I mean, I don't think Teddy Bridgewater is going to be the answer here unless you keep him as a backup. Skylar Thompson, definitely not the answer. And if Tua does not return for the Dolphins next year or any team in the NFL, this could open up some open options here for Derek Carr. Maybe he could go to the Dolphins, another complete team that he could play. Derek Carr, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. If Derek Carr does get traded in the offseason, so that could be something to look into. But nonetheless, if Tua's not in the game, they're not winning. So the Bills win this game pretty handily, and they probably, and 13.5 might sound a bit, what's the word? It might be a bit dicey to take the 13.5, but obviously, guys, at this point, it's the postseason. Take it. Take the points for the Bills. I think that's very well possible they can take it here. with that big of a spread. So I take the Bills. I don't know what else to say. The Bills they're one of the best teams in the NFL, and they're the best team in the AFC. I know that doesn't, I know they're playing. I know the Chiefs took that, that first seed, but if the Bills and the Bengals game were to have continued, they probably would have been number one. It's just my honest opinion. So I think they're the better team. So the Bills win it. That's what I'm saying. And the Bills cover the spread. Next, we've got another tight matchup here between the New York G-Men, the New York Giants, at the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are now favored by 3. I know a couple of weeks ago, about maybe 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, the Vikings were 3.5-point favorites. It was around Christmas weekend. This is a game where I think the Giants have a very, very, very legitimate shot of upsetting the Vikings. Last time these two teams have played, it was a very well contested, very well coached game. I thought the Giants played really well, and the Vikings, for the most part, I thought played pretty consistent. They played well, but their biggest thing is they can't play defense. Their defense is just atrocious. The Giants, with the talent that they have, I mean, give Daniel Jones, give Brian Dable some credit here, people. I mean, you don't have to love every single thing that the Giants do offensively. You don't have to love everything they do defensively. You don't have to love everything they do special teams wise. But regardless, though, guys, they are one of the best coached teams in the NFL right now. They have a great coaching staff. You get someone like Brian Dable in there as your head coach, who's worked with quarterbacks like Josh Allen, now working with Daniel Jones. I'm not saying Daniel Jones is an elite quarterback by any means, but what I am saying is that there is a huge difference between what Daniel Jones had in the beginning of his career with Pat Shurmur and Joe Judge. Definitely two of his worst coaches he's ever had in his 4-year journey with the Giants. And now he's got Brian Dable, who's worked with like an elite quarterback like Josh Allen. And that helps. I think if you have the great coaching staff, you have the right person that wants to believe in you, I think you end up playing better. And Daniel Jones has played better this year. I will say that. Is that going to be something that he'll continue to play year in and year out? I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens here. But I think this season was probably one of his better seasons. I think it was pretty much matched to his rookie season, which is a good thing. So now we do see some upside from him, which is great. And I think with the Vikings side, I mean, offense, they're going to be tough to stop. I mean, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, KJ Osborne, TJ Hawkinson at tight end. You have running backs like Dalvin Cook and Alexander Madison. And Kirk Cousins with the consistency and a great game manager. It's going to be tough for the Vikings. I know this is a home game for the Vikings, and, Minnesota is typically a tough place to play for any team to come in. But at the same time, I mean, the Giants are they're a good coach team right now. Whereas the Vikings are, a team that people are now, they're now seeing where they're really at right now. I think they're pretty much the team that everybody thought they would have been, earlier in the season. But I think the Giants upset here. Usually every year in the playoffs, guys, I think this is the year where the Giants actually upset the Vikings. Now, I like the Vikings. I've praised them a lot this year of what they've been able to do. I've said, be on the lookout for this team and everything. But now, I don't know if I'm still on that bandwagon or what, but I can't trust this defense for the Vikings. And when they played against the Giants, they barely won that game. I think the Giants come back up on top here. There's going to be an upset this weekend, and I think the Giants have what it takes to upset the Vikings. So I'm taking the Giants. I will absolutely, positively, I will take the Giants. And I will take the Vikings at 3 because I think it is going to be a very contested, very close game for the both games because it's still very likely that the Giants find a way to mess up and potentially win. So that's very well likely that probably will happen. But I got to take the Giants. I got to take, my NFL team, my favorite team. I got to take them to, with this upset because I think it's there. I think the Giants have every tool in the handbook to beat the Vikings. I really do. So I take the Giants, but I take the Vikings points at 3. That's probably what I would do. But it's your money, your call, whatever you decide is best for you. Next, we've got the Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals are 8.5-point favorites here, and as far as I know, I excuse me, I have not. Okay, so based off of resources of what I'm reading now, um, Lamar Jackson is not playing in this game. Tyler Huntley is not 100%. So this is going to be interesting. So it's probably going to go back to Anthony Johnson again. Anthony Johnson's probably going to be the starter for the Ravens again. So that's going to give the Bengals every opportunity. This is going to give them the biggest, this is basically the biggest gift. This could be the biggest gift that the Bengals could get from their arch rivals of the Ravens. The Bengals have everything. Offensive line, I'm still kind of suspect about. I think they're a bit better than they were earlier this year. But I think they're one of the best teams in the NFL, if I'm not mistaken. I really do. So I say the Bengals will win this game. Not sure if I like the spread here, 8.5. I think that's just, I don't know. That's a little too large for me. I think I personally believe it probably could be very close. I think it could be like a 10-point game. That's kind of what it was last week when these two teams played. But the Ravens defense is playing great. I mean, Roquan Smith makes a big difference for this defense. Without Roquan Smith, it does make things a little bit more tricky. But you got Roquan Smith, you've got Marlon Humphrey, you've got the secondary, you've got everything really on defense. Their defense is loaded. I don't think Greg Roman is still a good defensive coordinator, but he's gotten this team to be better defensively than they were in the beginning of the year. So I think Joe Burrow is probably going to struggle a little bit defensively, but I think they get just enough to be able to pull out on top, because I just don't think the Ravens have enough. And if Lamar Jackson does not play in this game, which is already pretty much a give me, no Lamar Jackson or no Tyler Huntley, this team is probably not going to win. They're probably not going to move the ball very much. So I take the Bengals. I will take the Bengals to win. And as far as the spread goes, I kind of would just pass on this game. Just typically because I think when you take a look at this game at the end of the day, it's an AFC North rivalry. And with this kind of a game, it's kind of crucial. And I'm not saying the Ravens are going to win, but it's very crucial to take 8.5 because I think the Ravens will keep themselves in the game. And the Bengals could probably find a way to win in an ugly game. It could be like a really tight, low scoring game here, because I think the Ravens defense is going to blitz. They're going to play a good game against Joe Burrow and company, but at the end of the day, they're going to find a way to win, and the Bengals will do that. So the Bengals win this straight up, but this is a pass for me as far as betting goes. And then finally, on Monday Night Football, we've got the Dallas Cowboys, or some people would call them the Dallas Cowgirls, who are going to Tampa Bay, Florida, to play the Buccaneers. So, this game right here is going to determine whether or not Tom Brady will continue to play or not. This will also determine if Tom Brady will remain undefeated against the Cowboys. This will also test the ability of the Cowboys, what magic they have left. The Cowboys in recent weeks, not the Cowboys that we've been seeing in the middle of the season. They are definitely not that team whatsoever. We see way too many turnovers on offense. We see way too many sacks offensively. We see way too many points being let up in terms of the defense. We see way too much. We see way too much from the Cowboys. That's just not been very pretty football. And playing the Buccaneers, playing Tom Brady, playing in this portion of the season, in the postseason, come on, guys. Let's just be realistic. Tom Brady is a legend when it comes to playoffs. If you beat him, you got to have some kind of magic to do it. I know the Bucs have a losing record. I get that. 8-9 is not a very pretty record. I get that. But at the same time, listen, guys, this is Tom Brady we're talking about. He made it into the postseason yet again. in his career. And you can never bet out Tom Brady. You never, ever, ever could count out Tom Brady by any means. So I'm going to take the Bucs to win. I don't love the Bucs this year. I think they've got a lot of problems that they're going to have to look into in the offseason. I think next season, we'll see how they go. We'll see where Tom Brady is if he's continuing to play here. But they do have a lot of questions they've got to fix on a lot of problems. But they can take advantage of the Cowboys' deficiencies. They can take advantage of their offensive line. They can take advantage of Dak Prescott throwing interceptions, fumbling the ball, you name it. They can take advantage of the lacking defense that's not playing coverage well, not getting anything really going. And they can take advantage of the pass rush too. The Bucs can take advantage of a lot of deficiencies that the Cowboys are facing right now. They really can, and they can take advantage of the injuries that they're facing right now on both sides of the ball. But yeah, Tom Brady in the postseason, you can't go wrong with it. So I take the Bucs to win. I think the Bucs will win plus 2.5. I say this would be a good game to probably bet the Bucs at 2.5 in this game, because there's just so much that we're looking at here, and knowing the Cowboys of what they do, I just don't trust the Cowboys. I don't think the Cowboys can do it. I really don't think they can get past Tom Brady. I could be wrong. And I will be the first one to admit I am sorry, everybody, but the Cowboys win this when they find a way to do it. But I don't see the Cowboys doing it, though. I really don't. And I'm not doing that because I'm being biased or anything, because I'm a Giants fan. I just don't see this. I don't see the Cowboys moving forward if they get to play the Bucs. So the Bucs win. Bucs 2.5 plus 2.5. That's what will get them to win. And with that being said, everybody, thank you once again for tuning in to my Wildcard playoff weekend predictions for this weekend. You will be seeing 2 games tomorrow with the Seahawks playing at 4:30, and then you get the Seahawks 49ers game at 4:30. You will also get the Chargers and Jags at, I believe, 8:20, I believe it's 8:20. That game starts. Let me just look that up real quick. I believe it starts at 8:20. I just want to make sure. Or 8:15. So that game plays at 8:15 tomorrow. And then on Sunday, you'll get to see 3 games. You'll get to see the Dolphins at Buffalo at 1 o'clock. You get the Giants at the Vikings on Sunday at 4:30. You get to see the Ravens and Bengals on Sunday Night Football at 8:15. And then Monday night, we've got the Cowboys and the Bucs, and that will also be starting at 8:15. And before I sign off for the night, everybody, please be sure to drop a like on this video, drop a comment down below to let me know any new content that you guys would like me to do moving forward with the postseason and the offseason that you guys would like me to do. I know I'm talking to a couple different people. I'm talking to one other person, a good friend of mine. We're talking about maybe trying to get some, have them come on as a special guest. Maybe we get to talk about a big topic here, and we'll be going live. Maybe we'll do pre-recorded, but we're going to be talking some off-season stuff. I'll let you all know when that comes. And also, if you have any other ideas, guys, just let me know. Just absolutely let me know. And then just leave a subscribe as well. If you hit the subscribe button, everything will go well. And hit the notification bell, so that way you guys know every single time that I am here live on YouTube, so that way you all can tune in. And with all that being said, everybody, thank you again for tuning in. This is your boy, JP Football Fanatics, and I am saying peace out, everybody, and I hope you all have a blessed night and enjoy the weekend. Enjoy some football, everybody. Thank